Good evening, Tomasz here. Today I'm planning to do quite a longer flight from Block Island, and I found this nice series of contracts in Sky Park. It features all of those airports in the middle, those four in the middle. If you look at Sky Vector and on the global VFR chart, you won't even find them there. They're so small, so I'm excited to see how that will work out. Today I believe I will need the help of GPS at least to locate the airport. I'll show you on the charts how it looks like. I'm not sure if I will be able to finish this because the expiration is Tuesday and it's a series of 5 flights. Hard to say. If not, then not. I'll just try it anyway. So I'm gonna begin that. And let's load. Yeah, this is something that is not simulated in Sky Park. I can basically load anything I want. It doesn't say how much it weighs. I'll just assume that it's all right. All right. So the first leg is from Block Island State to Stoe Creek Farm, and let's see how that looks like on the map. Stoe Creek Farm is here. And as you can see under the world VFR, and there's nothing here. If I switch to Washington, that's the sectional, still nothing here. Only when I switch to Philadelphia terminal arrival chart, or terminal area chart, I can see that indeed there is a Stoe Creek airport. It's very close to other airports, so it might be difficult to spot exactly this one, and because of that, I may be forced to use GPS as well on my aircraft. But we'll see how that goes. If I look for that here, 7AJ2, I can also see that this similar airport has a runway oriented the very same way. Okay, I need to. So and even this one has the runway going the same direction. So it might be difficult to spot it. There is some river, but I don't know if that will be visible from aloft or not. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Weather. And one thing I want to mention right in the beginning. Today I pre-planned this route manually or semi-manually. I prepared my navlog and I used the manual physical E6B computer to compute my headings and altitudes and so on. And I will show you on one line how that's done. So weather. Today I plan to fly at 8,500 feet because the winds are actually lower there. If I go lower to 6,000 feet, the winds are higher, and at 3,000 feet they're higher still. So today, and they are like headwinds, so I want as small a headwind as possible. So I will combine a better fuel efficiency when higher up with less winds, less headwinds higher up. Regarding clouds, clear skies, so really nothing to be afraid of. Ice, no icing. So again, it should be very, very nice flight. I'll check again what controllers I have online, and I can already sign in and connect to VATSIM. So I am located here on this island. We don't have anyone in the Boston area, but we have Washington Center. And the airport I'm coming for is right around here. And here we have a Philadelphia class Bravo. And I will contact Washington Center and ask if this class Bravo is under their jurisdiction. It might be that it's some approach from a different state. I don't know that, so I will need to contact them. So let's go to the route. I will use first New York, New York TAC. So this is the overall picture of my route. It's not visible, but I'll go there. So you can see part of it is here. I plan to fly it today. I plan to fly above the class Bravo, which goes to 7,000 feet. So I'll be above it. So legally I don't need to speak to anyone to even fly there. If there was a controller online, I would elect to fly lower and to actually fly this skyline route a little bit lower, just for the fun of it. But today I'll just climb and fly this. When we come closer here, I'll switch to Philadelphia terminal area chart. And since we have that Washington Center controller, I don't know if I will be able to fly along the river here. I'm hoping that I would be able to do that, because I need to start descent right around here. So very soon I would descend into the class Bravo. All right. Let's see how that goes. Now for the planning. Here is the navigation log, and I pre-filled some of it, like my altitude. These altitudes are like computed some kind of averages on the climb. Winds, I got winds from this textual data. It's in use for like now it's 1900 Zulu, so it's still valid. The winds from the graphical forecast are a little bit higher, but I will just pretend I use that. It's not that much of a difference, and we'll see how these data will help me out. I used the JFK data for most of my planning. So you can see at 9,000 feet, JFK data predict that the wind will be from 230 at 7 knots and 6 degrees of outside temperature. So that's what I said, 230 and 7 most of the time. Here in the beginning I have a wind speed of 20, and the reason is quite simple, because at lower altitudes the winds are higher. So at 3,000 feet it's 24, at 6,000 it's 14. I use something in the middle for 4,500. And then I used to Atlantic City VOR position, and for the rest of my flight I use these values. Now how to do that? So you have your true course, and the true course is something that, since I like paper maps and so on, I did this navlog thing to get the true course and true course only. So the true course for the final fix, PHL and to the bend in the river, is 227. So 227 goes in here. Now I need to work out the wind correction angle because the winds are from 190 at 16. So what I do, I found this emulator of the E6B calculator, and I'm gonna use this. And here's the steps you need to do. So as a first step, you set wind direction under true index. Wind direction is 190. So I'll rotate, and under true index here I will put 190. Mark wind velocity up from center point. So here's the center point, and I need to mark the wind velocity. The wind velocity was 16 knots. So it's 5, 10, 15, 16. So I click here, or you use a pencil if you have a physical one. I click there. Next step is set true course under true index. So now it's not a true heading of the wind, but true course, and that was 227. So I'll rotate this to 227, and you notice it rotated. And slide wind velocity mark to true airspeed. My true airspeed that I calculated in here on my performance chart will be 180 knots. So I will slide this red mark 227 to be at 180 knots mark there, and then I will read my ground speed here under the center mark. So my ground speed is 167, so I'll type it here, and the wind correction angle will be 1, 2, 3 to the left, so -3. And I will put -3 in here. I won't compute the last lag, and I'll show you why, because the last lag for me are those two lags. So it's along the river already. I won't be, timing this anymore. Maybe I'll start the timer in here, but I don't know my speed. I know that it's 7 miles. So based on the speed, I might figure out what speed I will be flying and set up the timer on the final lag. But not here. So let's see if I just wanted to skip. Let's do that. I just want to skip. I will not go from bend on the river, but I will do like slash something like final lag, final 7 nautical miles lag. And let's do that. So the wind at that point I would be already down. So the wind should be, yeah, this one, 16 knots from 200. The true course, and again, let's just see what was the true course of the final fix, was 91. So well, I could have guessed it, right? Directly to the east. So true course will be 91. And let's compute the rest. So as before, I'll take the E6B, wind 200, velocity was 16 knots, but I need to mark it here. Okay, I need to center this on 170, and 16 knots is there. Let's do it more precisely. Yeah, there it is. Then I rotate to 91. 91, and I read. My ground speed is 160. Sorry, now I need to slide this first. And my speed at that point, let's say I will be 120. I will try to be 120 on true airspeed. already be slow looking for the airport. So 120. So I need to slide this red mark to 120. There. And my ground speed should be 124. And the wind correction angle is, that's quite low, that's 5 degrees, 7 degrees to the right. So I'll put 7 degrees to the right. Splendid. Forgot to calculate the times. So for timing the legs, how long it should take me, and this will not be 15 miles, but 7 miles. So to count these, I will flip to the slider or slide, this one, zoom in a little bit. And how do I do that? I need to know my ground speed and distance, and from ground speed and distance you calculate the time. You can just do that, you can do a distance divided by ground speed and you get the time. You can use the calculator for that as well. So here is the rate arrow, 60 rate, and you need to turn it to your ground speed, so 167. Then on the outer rim you will find the distance you are searching for, 23 nautical miles. That's here. And on the inner circle, inner scale, or measurement, you will read the time. And in this case, it's 8 minutes. This is 8 minutes. This is 9 minutes. So 8 minutes and a half, 8 minutes and a quarter. So 8 minutes and 15 seconds. So I will type 8 minutes, 15 seconds. For the last leg, I'll do the same. Speed, the ground speed 124. So I will rotate this to 124, which is here. And I need to know how long it will take me to fly 7 miles. And in the case, it will take me 4 and 4.5 minutes. So it will take me something in the middle. So again, 415. All right. You might have noticed there are still some field missing. So true heading. I have my true course. I have my wind correction angle. And true heading, I simply add those two numbers. So 256 plus minus 4 is 252. I will do that for every single one here. Notice here we have a wind correction of 0 because the winds are 230. My true course should be 231, so it's a direct headwind. There we go. VAR stands for variation. And we can check the variation from the chart. So switch to, for example, Washington. And I'm looking for the line that will tell me what is the variation around here. Let's see. Cannot find it right now. I'll switch to World VFR. Yeah, here it is. This magenta dashed line. All I need to do now is to find the value here, 20 degrees to the west. So when I'm here over the KHP, over Philadelphia Airport, it's 20 degrees to the west. West is best, so I will add that. So here in the end, it will be 12 degrees, 12 degrees, 12 degrees. Let's see. If we go a little bit more east, I'm looking for the next one. I can see this one here. And the value on this one, let's switch to New York, is 13 degrees west. So around JFK and onwards, it's 13 degrees. So JFK, that's Alpine Tower is definitely JFK, and the Stoe Creek Meadow as well. So it's about 13, 13, 13, 13. Let's see if we stick with 13, coming a little bit more east. Where is the next line? Next line is here, it's 14. So at the beginning it's 14. So I will use 14 for this first 2 legs. Just to have some variation. Ah, it's a variation. And from that, from true heading and magnetic variation, you count the magnetic heading. So you add those 2 numbers. So let's do that. 266, 276, 283. This is 211, 244, 244, 242, 236, and 110. So that is the magnetic heading. Now there's a def. This is a deviation. So for aircraft that has, well, I don't have a compass card here. Here under the compass, I could have like a compass card telling me if I want to fly east, I need to fly not 90 but maybe 92, because this compass might be affected by electrical equipment in my aircraft. In my case, I have an HSI which is magnetic, which is like synchronized with a magnetic compass that is probably somewhere in the wing, so it's not affected by deviation. So I will just enter the deviation is 0 for me for every time. So for me, the compass heading will be the magnetic heading, and I can just copy the numbers. There we go. These are my headings between those legs. And these are my times. I should fly those headings. And I will keep track of this as I fly. That's this. Let's recheck the weather. We have very strong winds, but luckily this time they're like blowing more or less down the runway, so that's good. I entered it here. I have even if this is the runway heading 279er, wind direction is from 255. It's not that much of a difference, but at 20 knots, the crosswind component is still 8 knots. So yeah, that's it. Let's hopefully go flying. Final check if we have any new controller online, and if not, we can just go. Ah, the Washington Center is offline, so no talking to them. All right then. Let's hopefully that's all, and I can head over to the simulator. I'll just move those windows out. Great. So battery goes on, and I need to check that my lights are working. Lights are working. Yes, lights are working. Let's check the flaps. Flaps are coming down. Perfect. Verify that my bulbs in my buttons are all good. I have fueled aircraft to the brim completely because I want to see if I am able to complete the whole trip on single refueling. Not entirely positive that I am, but we'll see. Let's start the aircraft. So mixtures, go up. Fuel selectors, go to main tanks. Circuit breakers are in. Let's turn on magnetos.
Clear prop.
And alternators. Advanced throttle a little bit. And let's start those engines. So first left one. Make sure this is running smooth. Right one. And let's check it's running smooth. It seems to be, so I'll lean for taxi. Temperature is 20 degrees, so I will turn on the heater when we come higher. Great. Fuel pumps go on. And avionics can go on. The altimeter settings should be 3030. So let's set it up. 3030, and it should the altimeter should read 108, which is there. Very good. Standby altimeter again resets to some arbitrary number instead of the standard pressure, so just fix it. I will set up my timer here and reset it. And on my second screen, I'll just cycle through that. I will squawk VFR, monitor the guard frequency, and review. So I will be taking off from runway 28, which is in the direction that I want to fly. That's very good. And let's get to it. Let's set up my heading buck for runway heading initially. I will set the altitude that I want to end up at. 8,500. And we can go. Block Island traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna on the ground, taxiing to runway 28, Block Island. Parking brakes off, and let's taxi. The winds are blowing from our right and from behind, so I need to turn my ailerons to the left. That is done to prevent my wing that is into the wind to pick up from the ground and roll me over. Block Island traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo is entering runway 28, Block Island. There is nobody around, so I will do my run-up at the end of the runway. Let's turn around. Right, parking brakes set, and I'm holding the brakes as well. And let's do a quick run-up. RPM to 1700. Let it stabilize there. Let's check the magnetos. So, one magnetos from each engine. And the second set. Very good. Engine gauges are in the green. We'll verify the feathering. RPM should drop to 1200 or something. That's confirmed. So off we go back. And let's do idle. Very good. So flaps 15 for short field takeoff. Landing lines and strobe lights should be on. And let's get going. As I will start rollout, I will start the timer. Block Island traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo taking off runway 28 to straight out departure. Block Island. And starting the timer. The wind is from the left, so correcting with the aileron. And gear up. Flaps up. Okay, that's yeah, that was FS realistic. I tried to turn it off and on, because it seemed to be that it seemed to me that it was highly unrealistic, and I just confirmed that. All right. Block Island traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, departed the pattern, final call, Block Island. So let's ease on those engines a little bit and lean for the climb. And I will try to keep at 100 and pitch for 120 knots on a 266 heading. So just fix that. Should be around there, 266. Landing lights can go off. a little bit of right rudder trim, so I don't need to hold down my pedal. As you can see, the winds are pretty heavy. It's 30 knots headwind at 3,000 feet. So let's hope that the predictions are all right, and as we climb, we get lower winds. The wind direction is slightly off to my calculation, but of course I used the JFK for here, which is still like 100 miles away. I just didn't have any closer data. So fuel pumps can go off. Let's continue maintaining that manifold pressure and the mixture, proper mixture, and let's fly. Yeah, the first user fix was basically there, next to this field. Yeah, this aircraft has a very strange characteristic. It must be some bug. The higher I fly in this range, around 5,000 feet, the better performance I seem to have. It seems that it wants to climb better when at higher altitude at the same speed, which I don't think is correct. With rising altitude, your performance decreases because you are flying in, at least for these type of aircraft, you're flying in thinner air. The first leg should have taken me 9.5 minutes. I'm at 5:30 and I'm still climbing. The ground speed that I calculated was 107. I'm doing 112 currently. As you can see, the winds are starting to loosen a little bit. So we lost already 10 knots. So let's continue climbing. I normally don't fly this high because I like the view. But today, let's enjoy the view from up high. So far, hand flying the aircraft because I can. The aircraft is still dirty. That's because the slider has not yet come up all the way to the right. It's almost there. When it's there, I'm gonna perform an act of cleaning. So there should be a field. Yeah, there is a field there. That's Montauk. So when I'm abeam that, I will reset the timer and embark on the longest leg of this flight. Yeah, it looks so nice. Not a single cloud to impede our views. I'll also turn off the strobe lights. I don't... well, let's keep them on. Okay, my throttles are all the way forward right now, so I'm no longer able to keep the maximum manifold pressure in the green. I can still lean for best performance, best power, and I'm starting to turn. So at this point I'm gonna reset the timer. As you can see, it took us 9 minutes. So I will not bring that up on the screen, but I will make a note of 9 minutes in my flight log. And the next heading is 276. That should be... okay, somewhere there. As you can see, I'm climbing even better. I'm climbing 1000 feet per minute with lower manifold pressure. Just doesn't feel right. It's still the best GA aircraft there is, but some things need to be fixed. Okay, let's level off. And let's pick up speed. And then I'll configure for speed cruise settings, which in this case will be 2400 RPM and 21 manifold pressure. The speed that should give me a true airspeed of 180. And later when I'm flying on the autopilot, we'll use that E6B computer to see if we really fly that speed. Okay, first let's reduce manifold pressure. And then let's reduce RPM just a bit. The aircraft will be more efficient at these altitudes when keeping a relatively high RPM, and you can lower the manifold pressure if you feel you need to. Okay, I need to ease up on that right rudder trim that I entered before, because I'm no longer climbing. And I believe this is a good time to engage autopilot and to enjoy some views. So autopilot, heading mode. And let's fine-tune this. And let's fine-tune this RPM. Very good. And final thing, EGT. So I will do one engine by one by one. So I will just like 20 degrees to the ridge of the peak. That's what I'm looking for each engine. Very good. And this is a Long Island. And according to my navlog, I should spend 22.5 minutes on this leg until arriving. And let's just put it here. This is the leg we're on right now, and all the way there are some stacks. Crab Meadow, there are some stacks there, so I believe that I should be able to identify that. We have the aircraft like arrival routes that run here, but I'm above that. We also have departure routes. I'm below that. I should be quite fine. I will let the aircraft speed up to its final speed. We'll see. I can immediately see that when I was checking the weather just before the flight, the graphical weather, I could see that the winds were probably higher than 7 knots that I calculated with, and as you can see, we have winds like gusting a little bit, but like 15 knot range. So we will be a little bit slower than calculated. Let me bring the calculations here. Calculated winds 7 and the ground speed of 174. As you can see, our ground speed is 168 at this point. But let's calculate the ground speed in the E6B computer. What we need to do is we need to know our pressure altitude, and we need to know the outside air temperature. Let's see how to get that. The pressure altitude is simple. You just configure, as I do this, you configure your second altimeter to the standard pressure, and as you can see, our pressure altitude is 8,200 feet. And outside air temperature, let's switch the view a little bit. My thermometer says that it's slightly below 10 degrees, which reminds me I need to turn the heat on so my passengers won't get cold. So it's just below 10 degrees Celsius. There is a catch to it though. I will bring up the other Excel sheet, and this is a graph of RAM temperature. So you need to subtract the temperature rise from indicated outside air temperature to obtain true outside air temperature. So what that gauge here shows is not the true outside air temperature, it's the temperature as the sensor is measuring that. And the higher I fly, the more I need to subtract to get the true air temperature. So currently my speed is indicated 160. If I look at the graph, I'll move that to 160, and it indicates, and here is the pressure altitude, and pressure altitude was 8,000 something. So you can see this is 5,000, 10,000, so it's almost 10,000, somewhere there. And it tells me that I need to subtract 4 degrees. So it was almost 10, I will subtract 4, so I think it's like 5. So 5 degrees is the outside air temperature. And if you remember, this is exactly what I would be expecting at this altitude. 675. So that's good. Let's just verify there is everything is clear. All right. So let's get to this calculation then. Again, I will bring this and I will zoom in a little bit. And here is what I need to set. I need to align this air temperature with pressure altitude in thousands of feet. So my air temperature is 5 degrees. That's this first small one. my pressure altitude, I will just grab it here, was 8,000 and a little bit. So I will set this like here, zoom out, and then on the inner scale, I will find my indicated airspeed, and on the outer scale, I will find my true airspeed. My indicated airspeed as of now is 160. So my true airspeed should be 183. I will just quickly compare that. You can see true airspeed 183.24. So the calculation was done correctly. I estimated that these power settings should give me 180. It gives me 183, that's all right. I will use that because on the other hand we have higher winds, stronger winds, so it will not offset completely, but it will offset just a bit to help me keep my times on those legs in check. Right, let's enjoy the views. So enjoying the views. Our as I said, our true airspeed matches what we would expect. And I will start looking ahead to some middle points here. So I bring this and I will just zoom out to see both those fixes that I'm firing from and to. You can see that I am at 11 minutes. That's exactly in the half. So I should be somewhere there. And just ahead of me, I should start seeing, well, just ahead of me. It's maybe 10 miles, but 10 miles is perfectly visible. And I should start seeing this Port Jefferson and some stags. Maybe this airfield, but that's not really sure. So let's see what we can see from outside. Maybe this field might be visible. Okay, yeah, I see some runway here, there. I believe that will be our... no, it cannot be. The runway orientation is wrong. Let's see. Let's use this one. Maybe it has more runways. I don't know. But this thing here, that will be that outcropping, if you will. Port Jefferson. I'm pretty sure that that's what we see here. And just behind that, it will be our fix that I will compare my performance against. The fix called, I don't know if the fix is called Stags or Crab Meadow Northport. Well, Northport is this one, not this one. But it doesn't matter really. We should see that. And from there on, we'll continue over New York City. I'll keep checking if we don't have anyone around. Would show up here as well. Europe is pretty busy, as always. It's evening here. We have some aircraft at JFK, so but we will be keeping above Bravo today. And we are on the way. I don't like airport like this, okay. Just unsafe. I don't need to see it there. And I'm on my way. I won't be able to continue the second flight. First of all, it's quite long. So it's gonna be late, and that's connected to the second issue that, as you can see, the sun is slowly setting down. And it won't be long until it's set. I will be glad if I will be landing in some normal light. So this is the first outcropping, Port Jefferson. I'm looking forward to get this paper airplane out of my dashboard. So once I make the aircraft totally dirty, I will just clean it up. I'll reset the reset this. Our fix is somewhere there. Still have 4 minutes to get there. I'd like to check the aircraft from outside. It's something you cannot do in real life. Let's take advantage. Yeah, it looks good also from up there. When you are closer, of course, it looks better. Yeah, when I'm flying here, I will just prepare my landing data. Runway length are already entered. Runway heading, I need to verify or find out what directions the winds will be from, or what's to be expected. For that, this is Philadelphia. The winds are from 200, so 210 magnetic at 7. Let's count with that. So winds are from 210 at 7. At the destination, The destination, we have the runway 5 and 23, so it's gonna be 23. I don't see the concrete magnetic heading of that runway or direction, so I'll just use 230. So let's go 230. It's dry from sod, it's a turf, and for that, this is strange. This should count. Why doesn't it count? Let's check the landing data. Is it something that's wrong? Okay, 6. Normal. If normal. Okay, 6, otherwise. Okay, 57. That's strange. Yeah, something doesn't count up. Let me see. This is strange. So I don't have my ground roll here, so let's figure that out. The weight of the aircraft upon landing will be 5,100. 5,100. Pressure altitude around 0. Temperature. Temperature is expected to be 21. Let's check what's coming up on there, but we'll manage. Temperature 21. At this weight, at this altitude, so ground roll is 550, and to clear the obstacle currents is 1,700. Then of course I need to increase the distance by 25% of ground run for operation on firm sod runway, so it's gonna be around 700 feet, and I will have a headwind just headwind 7 knots, so I can decrease the distance by 3%. So it's gonna be around 700 for the ground roll, which should be good for this runway. Of course, that's when maximum braking is applied, and I can very scarcely achieve this performance. So next heading will be 283. And might have already missed that point. Let's it is one island, the second island. Okay, it's well, okay, this is this island, and this is the second one, and I should be before that, so basically already now. So let's reset the timer at 23.5. And let's set heading 283. And that should take us directly to Alpine Tower, which normally is the starting point of the skyline route above the Hudson. So 8.5 minutes flying this heading. There. Do you have any traffic around us? Let's check. Don't see anything. I can see the Hudson River already in front of us. It's this line. That means that somewhere there should be a New York City. Should probably, in real life, I would have seen the buildings. But the drawing distance here is not that far. It kind of loses on the immersion, but if I were to see those buildings at that distance, I would not be having 36 FPS, I would be having like 5 FPS. So I am alright with that, and I will let it slide, so to speak. I doubt I will be able to see this Alpine Tower from the air, so I'll make a turn upon reaching the river. Right, we're coming up on the river, and I believe that the Alpine Tower is actually there. I can see part of the Manhattan already. This should be... What kind of bridge is that? Tappan Zee Bridge, it's this one. Here we have... Where was it? Let's lean out of the aircraft. Could see the Alpine Tower before, I cannot see it now, which is very strange. Okay, let's make that turn and reset the timer. So the turn is to 211. Timer We'll reset it at 8 minutes. There we go. And I know that I need to follow the river. Keep flying above all the way to BZ. That was Verrazano Bridge. At which point I will turn again. It's 8 minutes for dislikes. 8 minutes for dislike. So what airports do we have there? Doesn't look correct. What is that? That's LaGuardia, right? Okay, so this should be LaGuardia. Somewhere. Where is Kennedy? I'm not really familiar with this area, to be honest, so Kennedy will be behind LaGuardia. Somewhere there. It's JFK. It's LaGuardia and Teterboro somewhere there, right? Or Newark. So, New York City. I'll correct my course a little bit because I want to fly there. And when over the city, I will do some external view and maybe make some picture. We'll see how that turns out. And there we have JFK. I'll just check little nav map if we have any aircraft on that sim around. Yeah, there is someone at LaGuardia. More people at JFK. Teterboro. Yeah, he's landing. Maybe we will be able to see them. Probably not. And there's somebody on the ground, probably. Oh, there's someone just before us. There. See if I can spot him also from inside. Yeah. There he is. I don't think he has his lights on, because I would have seen that probably. That's Verrazano Bridge. I will be turning right, following this coast into the sun. I'll just do some nice pictures. What I'm hoping will become nice pictures. Right, coming up on that Verrazano Bridge. So let's consult the navlog. Next heading will be 244. And the point where I should board that was basically behind the bridge. So a little bit more. No, we stayed above the Bravo in the end. Didn't penetrate that. And as I said, I would have flown the Skyline route if we had any ATC online, because that's fun. Otherwise, let's wait till we are behind the bridge. Which is probably somewhere there, and it's gonna be 244. And resetting the timer, 8 minutes 30 seconds. So I will type 8 minutes 30 seconds here for the actual flight time. And next leg is only 4.5 minutes. And that's the start of this coast. Once I cross it, I'll start the next leg. I calculated that my current my today's descent distance will be 40 miles if I descend at 500 feet per minute. That means if I want to be already more or less down, well, let's calculate that actually using the E6B as we did some other stuff. So to descend to, let's say I want to be at 2000 before I want to be at 2000 before turning this final leg. So I want to fly this at 2000 feet and rather slow, maybe 120 knots. So to be here at 2000, that means that I need to descend 6,500 feet. And with a rate 500 feet per minute, that makes 13 minutes. And I will estimate that my speed in the descent will actually be around maybe 180, 170 knots. It's not that big a difference. Let's do a faster speed. So if anything, I will descend, sooner. 180 feet, 180 knots is actually rather nice speed to calculate with, and because that means that you will descend every 1000, well, every minute you are flying, you will fly 3 nautical miles at this speed. So if you need to descend 13 minutes, that means that I will cover 12, like 12 minutes times 3, that's 36. So around 37.5, 38 miles, something along that figure. Let's call it 40, just to round it up. So 40 miles before I reach this spot, I need to start the descent. So where will it be? It's 8, 23, that's 31, 31 and plus 10, so that's a third of this. So let's say that I need to be someplace here to start my descent, to make it in time. But let's focus here, because when we are crossing that coast, we will be at our next fix. There. And from there on, we need to fly, coincidentally, the very same heading, 244. But I will need to reset my timer. And right after that, we'll verify that we're still flying the true airspeed that we should. Okay, I'll call it close enough. So let's reset the timer at 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Make a note, of course. So 4 minutes 45 seconds, go there. And let's see what airspeed we're flying. And before that, I forgot to check to update for the pressure. So let's look up JFK. What's the area pressure right now? 3031. That's just 1 notch higher, 3031. Not really any change. Okay, so as before, to calculate that I need my pressure altitude and outside air temperature. Pressure altitude is still the same, 8,000 and something. Temperature is still the same, almost 10 indicated. That means, according to this graph, I need to subtract 4 degrees. That means that it's 5 degrees actually, outside air temperature. And I already have this lined up. Is it temperature and pressure altitude? I have this lined up for 8,000 feet, which is there, and temperature of 5 degrees, which is there. So these two line up. And for 160 indicated, which is the case right now, I have that I'm flying 182 true airspeed. I expect to fly 180 based on the performance calculations. So again, pretty close. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the island with the plant on it, and there should be Philadelphia there. Let's verify there on the chart. Yeah, I believe that I see this, and behind that there should be Philadelphia. And as I said, I should start. Well, in this case, I will really start descending sooner because I want to see the Philadelphia from up close. So recheck, we don't have any controller online, so we can merely bust that Bravo airspace. Oh, we have Philadelphia approach, so no busting. Let's see if they'll allow us. So I'll tune them in, and let's see. Good thing I checked. When flying on VATSIM, you always need to check, and we're pretty close, so I can already call them in. I just need to verify how far I am and all those stuff. So there is no VOR over Philadelphia, but I have VOR here over Northeast Philadelphia. So let's no, I don't have a VFR, sorry. It's a class Delta. Made a mistake. So which? Not this one. Maybe I'll use this one. Yeah, let's use this one. So that's McGuire 110.6. That will give me a distance, and I will just tune in to know the direction. And where do we have that class Bravo? Okay, it starts after I cross this. But anyway, let's start descending already, because I want to be close. So let's say that let's do 3000. Of course, throttle a little bit back to keep that speed. What did I do? Oh, I changed the heading. It's not something I wanted to do. At this point, I will forego the keeping time,
1313
or maybe
taxi.
We'll see.
American 1313 Heavy, runway 27 left, taxi via Kilo November Sierra, cross runway 27 right on November.
Kilo November Sierra, cross 27 right at November 1313.
Just verify how they are called. Philadelphia approach. Okay, let's get to it. Philadelphia approach, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, VFR request.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Philly approach. Good afternoon.
Philadelphia approach, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. I'm Cessna 310, currently 17 miles north of McGuire VOR. I would like to request a Bravo transition along the Delaware River from kind of east to west, at 3,000 feet.
After Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Philly approach, radar contact, squawk 0602, Philly altimeter 3029.
Squawk 0602 and the Philly altimeter is 3029, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. So altimeter, transponder 0602, I need to set the correct altimeter, 3029er. And let's...
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, cleared to enter the Philly Bravo airspace. Maintain VFR at 3,000 in the Bravo.
Clear to enter the Bravo airspace, and I will maintain 3,000 in the Bravo, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. Alright, so let's speed up that descent actually. And what we want to fly is along this river there. This island here is our reporting point, so I will take the timer there. Of course, all my other things are based on the winds and performance at 8,500 feet, so it may be slightly off. The important thing here is that the Bravo actually starts there, so behind like after this island here, there is the Bravo that starts. So we should be at 3,000 before this. So let's say there. Okay, let's do some different.
And sir, approach we apologize. We missed Kilo there, correction November. We're taking Mike.
Okay. 1313 Heavy, no worries. Taxi runway 27 left, taxi via Mike Sierra, cross runway 27 right on Mike.
Roger, via Mike crossing 27 right.
So it would be very good if we were at 3,000 by this island. Let's see if we can manage. And we probably can, because here it says that we should be at 3,000 basically already there. It's like last 2,000 feet to go. So slightly faster descent than I originally planned, but no matter. I'm so glad that Philly approach came online.
American 1313 ready to go.
American 1313 Heavy, say again please.
American 1330 ready to depart 27 left.
American 1313 Heavy, fly heading 265, wind 230 at 8, runway 27 left, clear for takeoff.
265, clear takeoff 27 left, American 1330.
A little lower, so I will just fly slower and enjoy the views. So let's fly slower. And let's follow that river. We are at the plant, so let's reset the timer. Well, I will reset it, but from here now on, the times will not really agree, because I will be flying much slower. Is below that. Have my let's add power. Let's add like 21. That should keep us at a decent speed and able to enjoy the views in the meantime. Let's reconfigure the mixture. Okay, well, I was able to actually keep the mixture correct during the descent, so I don't need to move it anymore. So again, we've been cleared into the Bravo airspace by the controller. What I want to do is to fly along the Delaware River all the way over the airport there. Okay, not this one.
American 1313 Heavy, radar contact.
And then when I'm here,
1.1.
I will time this last leg. We'll try to
That's at 1.4.
turn in the correct
Roger.
spot. Still having the autopilot on, just to be able to enjoy the views all that more. So let's recalculate our true airspeed actually, because we are much lower. So it should give us...
American 1313 passing 2.8.
Roger.
If you remember, we had 160
American
indicated,
1313
and
Heavy,
our true airspeed was 20 knots higher.
10,000.
So let's see. Outside air temperature is around 10 degrees, so let's use 10 degrees, and pressure altitude is 2,500 and something. So let's quickly bring up the E6P, correct that. So temperature is now 10 degrees, pressure altitude is much lower though, just below 3,000, like so, and it's plus degrees. So I need to align this line. Indicated airspeed is 150, so it means the true airspeed should be 160. Let's quickly check. True airspeed 160. Very good. Of course, then you need to add the wind component, and you end up at the ground speed of 147. So by now we have just entered the Bravo airspace. Well, not quite. This portion is the floor is at 3,500. This portion is at 3,000, right? Yeah. No. Yeah, this portion is 3,000. So we are just flying just under it, or legally we are in it right now. But when coming here, we will be definitely full blown in Bravo, because that's from 1,500 to 7,000.
American 1313 Heavy, climb and maintain 13,000.
13,000, 13,000.
American 1313 Heavy, leaving my airspace, radar services terminated, frequency change approved, have a good flight.
Just to quickly check. Yeah, still some distance to go. All the way behind that, along the river, and this is the point from which I will enter the final segment. Let me quickly verify when I'm leaving. Yeah, so there, basically just before this turn. At this point, I will be leaving Class Bravo. That bridge looks like...
Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, you can proceed along the Delaware River as requested.
Thank you very much, enjoying the views, and have a nice day. For now, I'll contact you when I'll be leaving the Bravo, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
Very good, thank you.
So in real life, no chance I would get this route. As the major airport, I'm basically flying parallel to its runways, crossing the departure and arrival paths of Big Tin. In simulator, it's perfectly fine to do this. Those bridges are looking funny. It's like walls, not bridges. So what other aircraft do we have in the area? I believe not much. It's just this heavy one. Back to the problem with indicated versus true airspeed. As you could have seen, we are flying only 10 knots lower indicated airspeed than before, but 20 knots lower true airspeed. And that difference is to be done because your airspeed indicator is basically a pressure instrument. It just measures ram pressure and calculates your speed by comparing that ram pressure to the static pressure outside of your aircraft. And if you're higher up, you have less air molecules in the air, so lower pressure is exerted on that pitot tube that you have that measures your ram pressure. So your indicated airspeed goes down, even though you are moving still the same speed through the air. It's something to keep in mind. At these altitudes that I'm flying, the difference is not so high, but maybe at 30,000 feet, the difference can be easily 150 or even 200 feet, 200 knots, if you're flying high enough. So that's Philadelphia. First time I'm flying over Philadelphia in this simulator. And there is the international airport. Eerily quiet in the, here in the virtual skies. That looks like downtown Philadelphia. And there is some traffic. Could that be that heavy? I honestly don't think so. No, that's another one. It's flying to Atlanta, probably. Yeah, but 1, 2, 3 runways. And I guess 4th. I guess the prevalent winds will be from east to west or west to east in this area. And for those other days when it's something else, they would use this fourth runway. I'm half tempted to key the mic and just make a remark to the controller. This is not something you can do in real life, but he knows. I'll just take the outside view, maybe I'll make some nice picture. It's like intermediate fix or something. Yeah, it's intermediate marker, I believe. Okay, so we just passed the airport. Let's check, where are we? We're there. So a little way to go still. And when there, I will just take over and fly that bird. They seriously need to fix those bridges. It looks strange, and there is no water under them. The sun is getting lower and lower. Yeah, so okay, so the airport was my fix. Let's just add those 2 times, and instead of 10 minutes I will have 18 minutes 15 seconds. That's to there. Just point there already. This guy is always there. Okay, this bridge looks better. Let's see what bridge is that. If I can find that. Looks like not this one. This will be this one. Bridge. Okay. What's the name of the bridge? I don't know. But, as it happens, this bridge actually marks where I will be leaving the class Bravo. At the foot of this bridge, so there. This is exactly the point where the Bravo ends for me. Because you can see that here the Bravo is only from 3500 to 7000. This segment here is to 3000 or from 3000, so still I would need to descend a couple of feet to be under that. I can do that, but it doesn't make any sense. And here it's from 2000 up. So I'll just head toward that bridge. And there is my turning point. Like I would call it a final VFR fix to my destination, and I estimate I will need to use the GPS to help me locate that field, because it's gonna be virtually invisible. I can already see that. But to be prepared for it, I will already set the heading of. Well, I cannot do that, can I? Because that would turn the aircraft. So as soon as I got out of Bravo and I will hand fly the thing, I will set the heading of 110, which is the one that I will need to be flying to keep the true course of 91.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, leaving the Philly class Bravo. Radar services terminated. Squawk VFR. Frequency change approved. Have a great flight.
Thank you very much for allowing me to do that. It's not allowed in the real life, and I will squawk VFR and frequency change approved. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
Right, squawking VFR. Changing bank to Unicom. Yeah, this bridge looks much better. So, I will hand fly the thing from here on. I'll set to 110. Yep. Nice. This one, that's what I'm looking for. If you check the chart, cooling tower. So I will use that cooling tower. Probably this one there. So turn slightly before that, and I should be able to arrive there. As long as I slow down to 120 knots. That it should give me that time of 4 minutes and 15 seconds to get to the airfield. So let's first descend, or let's pull power. Yeah, let's full power. I will first slow up to 120. Still a little way off, but who cares? I will stop my timer because I don't need it right now. And I will trim my aircraft to fly at 120 knots, so then I can more or less control it only with my power. I will drop the landing lights and turn on my fuel pumps so I don't forget. That cooling tower is perfectly visible, it's very good. Still slowing up. and I will set my VOR needle to 230, which is the direction of the runway as I expect it to be, and that should help me determining from what I see on the ground if some patch of something can be the runway that I'm looking for or not. Okay, I'm almost at 120, trimming the aircraft. Yeah, looks good. So I'll bring back the power, start the descent. It should keep 120 knots, more or less. Of course, that's indicated. I need to fly 120 true speed, but at the altitude of 2000, those speeds are virtually the same. It's maybe 1 or 2 knots of difference. And I know it takes longer when you're flying slowly. But it also takes way less of fuel. Just to be on the safe side, I will light up. Where is it? Yeah, I will light up my dashboard here. Sometimes the lighting seems to be a little bit strange. The reason why I picked 2000 feet of altitude is the pattern altitude is 1000, I know, but from 1000 you cannot see very far. So that's the reason why I'm descending to 2000 feet instead. Can advance my mixtures a little bit more. And how is that field called? Stoe Creek Farm. That's a mouthful. So I will add power to stay at this altitude. Stoe Creek Farm traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo Twin Cessna, currently 7 miles to the west. Joining left at 2000 feet, joining left downwind of runway 23. Stoe Creek. I'm almost not moving. That's also due to the wind that's blowing. And the wind should be blowing from 200, which it is. More or less. Well, not really, but... good enough, I think. Okay, so I'm in front of that, so let's make that turn. And let's start the timer. And just a reminder, I should pass first one there, and it's the second one. And it should take me 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So maybe this might be the first one. Maybe. Flying a little bit slower. I guess I'm gonna need to use that GPS. I'm already seeing that I'm drifting a little bit to the left. So really wondering if I will be able to spot the correct field. Time is 2 minutes, so it should take me 2 more. Okay, these are power lines, it's not the field. The field should be directly like down over my nose. So I'll just turn. The runway should be kind of... I hope that I looked that up correctly. Let me quickly recheck. Runway is 23, indeed. So it should be perpendicular to me. And I should be already at it. Yeah, that's gonna be it, probably. That's that seems to be very short. Does it look like a runway? It kind of does, with the road in the middle. And maybe it will be that. Oof. Let's see that. There's another one, that's something. Maybe that's the runway. No, that's not the one. Or maybe it's a little offset in here, of course. No, these are power lines. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge. This is gonna be a real challenge. If I'm able to find that field. It's just 1 mile behind me. It needs to be somewhere there. This one perhaps... No, those are lines. If it's even here. Or this one. Let's try that one. Stoe Creek Farm traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. I'm turning final, I think, to runway 23, full stop landing. I'll drop flaps and gear. Let's try to use the GPS map to get me there. So I won't be able to locate it otherwise, no chance. So full mixtures, full props. And just descend and hope for the best. Can always go around. So don't see anything. Yeah, that spot, that will be the runway, that thing there. So full flaps. All right. Interesting. I hope I will be able to take off from here afterwards. Flaps go up, landing lights off, strobe lights off. Stoe Creek traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo vacated the field, runway, and parked the aircraft, Stoe Creek. So I'll just set the parking brake and see in the Sky Park if I'm at the correct. Yeah, probably yes. Doesn't look like this at all. I'm not able to zoom in on this, am I? No. Well, let's deliver. Delivering this. Yeah, but without GPS, I wouldn't be able to find it. It's a shame, really, but probably true also for real life. Yeah, so this building will probably be this building. There is a road crossing the field. I don't think I saw that. Yeah. So next leg is to fly here. But that's definitely not gonna be today because that is unlit. It's 233 miles, at least half an hour of planning, and no way I could make it. So what we did today? We departed Block Island, flew along the Long Island, overflew the New York City Bravo airspace. And then I noticed that the Philadelphia approach came online, so we descended to 3,000, just to be at 3,000 just before that Bravo airspace, and we got the Bravo airspace transition, and we flew along the river all the way there. And then before the cooling tower, we made left and continued flying towards the airfield. So I think you might, I will just shut down the aircraft first. Let's do it properly, and then I'll say goodbye to you. Can stop the timer. Stop the heater. Avionics goes off. Fuel pumps go off. Mixtures all quiet. Magnetos, switch them off. Alternators off. Navigation lights and battery. And I will also shut off these fuel selectors. Right, so that's it. Safely arrived, and let's continue. Let's continue next time. Where do I pause it? Pause contract. Okay. Thank you for watching, and until next time. Bye bye. Oh, Zemith, if you're still there, yeah, sorry, didn't see the chat before. The flying is excellent. Crossed the Philadelphia Bravo, but the runway was, yes, it was really well hidden. I picked a contract that is basically a series of contracts, and all of them but the last one are to these rural airfields that you cannot even find on the sectional. You need to have a more detailed one. So this is not findable on sectional. This is not findable on sectional. This one either. If I go there, you can see that we are basically in the middle of nothing here. And only when you switch to terminal area chart, you have the field there. And it's the same for all of them in this. So yeah, so next time it's gonna be one challenge taking off from here, and the second one finding the other field. And the condition is I need to have a VFR weather, otherwise the contract will just time out, because it times out at November 18, which is not that far. Actually, it says Tuesday. November 18 is not a Tuesday, it's Saturday. But maybe it just postpones the expiration as you finish the legs. That should allow me to do that. That's good. So yeah. And no, we won't be taking off from this on the weekly flight. We'll be taking off from the Block Island. So thanks for dropping by, and catch me next time if you can.